Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Alchemizing Energy, and today I'm bringing a special guest. He is the author of In No Sense. It's a paperback book. He is a writer who spent 30 years in Angola prison, and we're going to get his story. He is the owner of the nonprofit Pipes, Priorities, Intentions, Practical Exchanges. His Facebook group can be found um, here, and you could join. Um, and he, like I said, he also has a documentary that he put out. It's called 30 Years and 7 Months of Angola Slavery. Uh, let's check a little bit of it out.
Shreveport police needed your help.
In an update, Shreveport police continue to investigate an overnight shooting.
Breaking overnight, a man killed.
And a 13 Action News update tonight on the shooting death of a local teen.
Shreveport police have arrested a man in connection with a shooting.
We have an update now. The man believed to be responsible for the killing of a man.
We begin tonight with breaking news. The murder suspect wanted
Terrence Winn.
I am Terrence Winn, and this is my story. I was just released from prison after doing 30 years and 7 months. Doing a documentary because I was a 16-year-old kid that went to prison, and I had a life sentence. That life sentence meant that I wasn't supposed to be here today. I was supposed to die in prison. So I didn't die in prison. So it's by Allah's will that I'm here.
Wow. Without further ado, let's welcome Terrence Winn to the stage. Hello, nice to meet you, Terrence Winn. T. Winn, also to be called. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's a powerful documentary. I've been watching it. I'm going to be getting your book as well, but let's kind of go into that story. I know that you talk about it in the documentary, but let's kind of go into what happened. What put you into the situation to where you were facing 30 years?
I was a young kid. It was like during the height of the gang infusion. When LA gangs first started popping up in different southern cities. This was like at the boom of the crack epidemic. And so I was one of those wayward, lost kids who got caught up into that atmosphere. And it led to me killing a man and wounding another man. And I was tried as an adult from the age of 16. And I was sentenced to life plus 25 years. And by the grace of God, I was released after 30 years because the law changed. In 2012, I was released in 2020, but in 2012 the law changed, and it led me to being able to be here today. So,
How much time did you spend total in prison before the law changed?
Before the law changed?
Yes.
When the law changed, I had been incarcerated for 22 years. Yeah, for 22.
And then it took about another 10 years for you to kind of get out of the situation. Wow.
8 additional years.
And did you have to kind of represent yourself, or did you have help with getting out? I know a lot of people, have access to the law library. How did you even find out about this change in law?
I was always an advocate, even in prison, and so I always, I learned the law while I was in prison. So I was abreast of what was going on in society. So we was all awaiting the ruling in the Miller case. And Miller is the leading case that led to us getting free. So I learned about it by watching. We had been waiting, and so the day of the ruling, which was coming from the United States Supreme Court, and I was watching. I just stayed in the dormitory and I watched CNN. It was a lot of us who were juveniles because this law was took effect to every juvenile that's in the United States of America. And so we just watched it on CNN, and we jumped for joy once they
So
read the
could you
verdict.
explain for those in the back of the room that were not aware of this law and what happened and changed the law? Was this during what era was this under? Obama, Biden, Trump, Bush?
This was under Bush.
Okay, under Bush, and so they created a law. And what was this law? And what was it called? The Miller Act. And what did it cover?
The Miller law, it covered the grounds of you not being able to automatically sentence a kid to a life sentence. You have to take in all the mitigating factors and circumstances surrounding this kid being incarcerated. So that's the Miller ruling.
I got into it with Charleston White. Well, he kind of got into it with me. He was really frustrated because I kind of asked a certain question, which I don't think that everybody is aware of. Because 16, and people would think, oh, okay, you're 16. Are you going to go straight to an actual prison? Or are they going to put you in juvenile? Like when they say they're going to try you as an adult, like that means that some people might just think, okay, you're going to get life, but you'll probably start off in juvenile, and then when you get a certain age, you're going to move you over to the regular prison. But there's been some time now that people have been trying these kids as adult, and they're going straight to an adult prison.
Yes. When they try
What?
you, you finish.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead about that's what I was gonna say. So in your case, you're 16. Jesus, 16. I can only imagine. So it's not even like oh my God, just to think about a 16-year-old. My daughter's 17,
Yeah.
and you went they didn't put you in juvenile first, and then you got to go. It was like they just shoved you right straight to go, right?
Well, it's like when you get arrested at that age, you go to juvenile, and so you got to go before a juvenile judge, and the juvenile judge make the ruling on whether or not to keep you in the juvenile system or to put you in an adult system. So my judge ruled that I go into an adult system. So that same day, I was shipped to the adult jail, and they isolated me from the adults until I turned 17. And when I turned 17, I was placed around everybody else.
Right. So the age is 17. It's not even 18 that they put you. So you go first, you see a juvenile. And this is what I was trying to get Charleston to do with me on that conversation. I was trying to get him to explain what the steps are. Like, do you go straight to an adult judge, or do you go straight in jail with the adults, or do you first start off in a juvenile, then they move you into the adult? And that's what I was really trying to clarify, because I don't think everybody really knows how that process works, right? But you're saying even at the age of 17, when did that start? Has that always been that I would have thought that 18, but no, you're saying you're 16. The moment you turn 17, they're putting you in there with adults.
Yes. So it's like I think I can't really remember exactly when they started viewing 17-year-olds, placing them straight into an adult facility, but it's a jurisdictional issue. So you can't jump the process. See, it's a process when you get arrested. So when you first get arrested, and I'm just going to try to walk you through it fast. So when you first get a crime happens, police come out there, investigate. So they got a suspect. All the witnesses said that Winn did it. So now they find me. So the first thing they do when they put me in handcuffs, they Mirandaize me. They ask me, you tell me you got the right to remain silent and all that, so they give you all that, and they take you down. So just say if they was to just, I'm 16, they bring me straight to an adult jail. And while I just sit in that jail, I go to trial, I get found guilty. I got a pillow of grounds right there, and I can automatically give my case back because they jumped the process. They didn't take me to a juvenile jail, so they don't have jurisdiction over me. the adult jail don't have jurisdiction on me without going through the juvenile process. So the juvenile judge has to give them the jurisdiction to be able to try me in an adult court. So you go to an adult jail, and why, then everything else falls into place. So that's how that's the process of it. It was something else you asked within this. I'm trying to remember, because I got caught up in just trying to tell you how the process of it all works.
Yeah, no, I was saying that at the age of 17,
Oh,
when did they start actually switching it from? I
okay.
thought that you were at 18, you're an adult, but you're saying they moved it down to 17, so you turned
Well,
16.
well,
The moment you turn 17, you're an adult.
this had been long before. A 17-year-old could go into an adult facility, but up under the Miller ruling, it says that you're not an adult until the age of 18. So the Miller ruling is a set precedents and set standards throughout the country. So if you were 17 years old when you was arrested for your crime, you were still considered a juvenile. So
So
most
did it change back? Let me give you an example because, and
I'm
I
gonna
hate
tell
to
you.
bring this up because I'm like, how did okay, go ahead. Yes, sir.
All right, so I can just tell you, uh, the age standards was reset during the Miller ruling. But you got certain parishes, which Louisiana falls up under parishes, and in certain counties that don't want it to be like that. So they want 17 to be the age that they can constantly lock people up. So they make legislative laws so that people can still be 17 years old and considered an adult. But by law, a kid, no, you still considered a kid. Oh, I'm ready for.
I'm thank you for clarifying that. That's what I was really trying to get to the understanding of with Charleston, because he was a child. He got tried as an adult as a child. And I'm not sure if that's even how he got out. I'm not sure. I got to do some research into that. And now you have a Carmelo Anthony that's going through something similar, where he's 17 years old, and from what I was told, he's in an adult facility. Okay, but this Miller Act still exists. It's still around. Hmm. So now, let's get deeper into your situation with the work that you've been doing. Oh, you must have got a phone call.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm trying to find it. All right, I'm here.
Uh-oh.
Keep
Well, I'll keep asking the question. I guess you'll come back up. Let me
trying to get back to you now.
so so you get let out. I mean, not sorry. You get arrested. You get transferred to an adult facility. What is it like as a teenager going into an adult facility? A 17-year-old. I mean, are you prepared to?
I don't.
Because
I
you
don't.
already went to.
I don't think. Just so you can notice, I don't think that's a question you should really just ask a person,
Okay.
because it's indescribable what it's like. It's like nothing that I could tell
Put the
you
words.
for you to really understand it. Because here it is, I'm in Louisiana. Angola was the bloodiest prison in the world. So you don't really, you scared. People can say that, man, I ain't scared. But I went to prison in 1991. The day I walked into prison, uh, the day I walked into prison, the dude was getting killed. So it's like you're going into a place that you ain't totally prepared for. So you scared. I don't care how good you can fight, how you're gonna go get a knife and be ready to kill or whatever, but you are scared because you don't know. This is unfamiliar territory to you. You scared, you got butterflies, but you ready to do what you got to do to survive, and you ready to do what you got to do to be a man. But that still doesn't make it be absent of having some type of trepidation because it comes with the territory. So you asking a kid that's coming out of society how it feels to step back into time, because it's stepping back mentally. You going from being in the city to going into on a plantation that once housed your ancestors for slavery. And although we call it prison, you doing the same thing that they was doing. You being held against your will, you being a slave. So you stepping back in time, even with the mentality of the people there. So you coming from a progressive thinking or mentality in society to this slave mentality here in this prison system. And these dudes will kill you for nothing. Or these dudes want to see you become a woman because there's no women there. And it's all about pressing up on you because men are so territorial and men are so into always want to, and it's just a natural thing for men. Men are territorial and we all about ruling things. We just want to always show our strength and our might, and we just gotta place our own rulership on things. It's just the nature God gave us. And so now you stepping into this. You ain't never used a knife in society, probably, mostly, 90, probably about 96% of the people going into prison ain't using a knife because it's about guns in society. And it's about hand-to-hand combat here. So now you gotta fight, which a lot of us grew up fighting. But if you don't fight, good, you gotta have a knife. So are you ready to use this knife to either take this man's life or get your life taken? The fear that unknown is always present. So a 17-year-old kid coming from school to go into this environment, there's no way you can really mentally prepare yourself for it. So you just threw into it and you just gotta do what you gotta do to survive. Or you just do what you do and don't survive. And you just become the property of another man. Or you don't survive and you kill yourself. You know, there are not many choices that you have. But the choice I had was, I'm gonna survive this. I'm gonna be a man through this. So whatever it takes, I'm gonna survive. And I'm gonna come out on top. I ain't finna let nobody come out on top on me. So those were the choices.
Um, so do you think that, if size plays a factor, in what happens to a person? Like if they're a bigger person, taller, more like maybe muscular, like say if a person's like okay, a Carmelo and he said like 120 pounds, going into a situation like that in like a maximum security where people are doing life for that type of like murdering people. You know what I'm saying? What exactly what happens if a person is a smaller I mean, I'm not sure how tall you are. You look like you're at least 6 foot tall.
I'm 6'1".
Yeah. Right. So a person that's a smaller stature, does that kind of determine a lot too as well? Do they get preyed on a lot, smaller guys?
No, because I got a I got a I got a homeboy here. His name is Bam. They got books written about him. He didn't write them. Other people from other areas wrote them. But Bam is like probably probably about 4 feet 5, 4 feet 6. Bam is like the biggest man you're gonna. He a giant, and he the shot caller because everybody from Louisiana gonna have to go through Bam because Bam he a giant, and ain't nobody from no other state gonna get through on nothing. They gonna have to go through Bam. So I got Lil E. He in Dallas. Lil Diesel. Those are little guys, but they stood tall in prison. Had a guy named Dago, stood super tall. All these short guys. Man, they had Lil Hickey. Man, these are guys you considered practically midgets, but they stood tall in prison because they men and they stood on men principles. So they didn't take no wooden nickels. Whatever happened, they answered the call and they came out on top the majority of the times. So if you came out on top on it, you was just a hell of a man. So stature don't mean anything. It's the size of your heart. That you can't see my heart unless you try me. Because like me, I'm the type of person that's gonna smile at you all day. Some people might take that smile to be weakness. But if you try me, you're gonna see what I'm built like. And that's what it is in Louisiana. So in Carmelo Anthony's situation in Texas, he has it better than a person in Louisiana because black people is kind of forced to stick together as opposed to being here. Because here is about where you from, what city you from, as opposed to, black guys in Texas got to stick together because you got the Mexicans there, you got the Aryan Brotherhood there, and even if they don't just stick together like they should, but they're gonna stick together more so because you got other races that'll take you out. Here in Louisiana, it's just black on black crime in prison, just like it is in society. So no, it's not about the size. It's about that punch. It's about what you packing. Because if you ain't packing nothing, yeah, any man gonna fall. Because you might got guys in prison, which I know, you had guys in prison like 6'5", 6'6", and they wasn't standing on strong on no screen. So it ain't about the size of you. Because going through Angola at one time, you just gonna get tried just on the screen to see if you a man.
I heard there's like this thing when you first get in it, either you buck or get fucked. Have you heard of that I was saying? Is that true?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was I wouldn't say it's a myth, but it ain't all the way true in Angola. But I would say that in Angola, your manhood gonna get tested at one point. Your manhood was gonna get tested. Uh, Either it's gonna be directly or indirectly, and you just gotta answer whatever call, however it come at you. And you just gotta stand on the principles to establish the fact that you're a man and that you ain't gonna be nothing but a man.
How important is it not to get involved with like substances? I know there was a story made with a guy named Vern. He said he went into there, he got friends with somebody, they were drinking some hooch. They started to dance. Next thing you know, I guess the guy raped him, or something like that, and I don't know, he couldn't fight back. And then something happened where they said, listen, you're going to have to stab him to make up for what you did. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we're going to turn our backs on you, like the protection that you have. Right. Um, so there's several things at play: getting protected, drinking alcohol or whatever, hooch or whatever, or taking any substances while you're in the presence of a person that could victimize you at any point.
I can speak for Angola, and I can say this about Angola, about Louisiana, period. The homosexual stuff isn't big no more. That's really over. And you can go in and go in prison, they get loaded all day and fall out. Ain't nobody finna mess with them about their manhood. Dudes ain't trying to get your booty. You don't nobody care. Like people that been down there be like, boy, one time such and such will be trying to get him right now. But that's not the ideology anymore. It's just people escaping they reality. They just want to get loaded through it. So, you don't have to worry about that too often. If something
Not as
happens
much
to you,
anymore.
yeah, if something happened to you, it's more than likely you wanted that to happen to you.
Okay. Hmm. Um, that's interesting. How available? Because I've heard that drugs are available just as much in the prison as they are outside of the prison. You pretty much can find every single thing that you can find on the outside, on the inside. How true is that?
Oh, very true. It's very
Mm.
true.
And does that make you more vulnerable though, if you do have a drug problem, if you're in prison?
Or more
No.
vulnerable than you is in society.
Hmm. Okay. Now, back in the day, they used to have like the Nation of Islam and different religious groups. How important is it to find spirituality? Does that kind of keep you out of a lot of things, like a lot of trouble by getting involved with the religion or spiritual group, or does that help?
I mean, I think it helps. I think it helps. Yeah, because if you give your life to God, you ain't gonna give your life to crime. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, it
I
helps.
mean, how organized are those groups in the prison to kind of shape you, like keep you away from a lot of stuff, or are they involved in some of the stuff too? They have to be in somewhat just to even exist, or are they just completely removed as a group to where you could just only focus on the knowledge and Islam and etc. And you don't have to deal with any of the other wild stuff that goes on with the gangs and the Aryans and the, whatever little the most recent like situation in the prison is, or is it all kind of just in one spot, one thing?
Well, Islam is a lot more disciplined than Christianity.
Hmm.
So it's whatever. It's like Christianity. People might look at you doing something, and then you'll go pray. So they'll be like, "Man, you straddling the fence." See, in Islam, you do something, you ain't coming back in Islam. Islam got a closed door policy on you because they ain't about to let you do anything uh, that's gonna make the religion look bad. Because people judge Islam differently than they judge Muslims. Because then they judge Christians. If you look at the fact of what happened in 9/11, they didn't say uh, Hassan did this here. They said Islam did this. But when you look at Timothy McVeigh, a Christian, they say Timothy McVeigh did it. So he's held accountable for his personal actions as opposed to the Muslim men who did the World Trade Centers. It become a thing of just religion. So you're judged way more harshly as a Muslim than you are as a Christian.
Hmm.
So people are that does take on the attributes of a belief in Islam, you'll see you'll see a strong disciplinary because they discipline with everything. Whether it comes down to praying 5 times a day, and you making these prayers timely, and you don't eat certain things, you cut things from your diet, you fast every year. Now, these are things of discipline. You read your Quran, you you be more humble, and you just be on your deen. In Christianity, you could break rank, and it calls for you to just fall on your knees and pray, like John 3:16. Just repent your sins, and God gonna always forgive you and forgive you, forgive you. Where Islam, doesn't live up under that.
Hmm. So
So
it's more of a stricter situation. So you can't just be doing whatever you want to do with it. Other
well,
there's a time when that door closes of forgiveness and what's allowed. So you
yeah,
have to be more disciplined. So are the like Nation of Islam separated from the real not real, I shouldn't say real, but like the Sunnis, or is it like a separation, or do they all kind of come together under Islam when they're in prison?
oh, they all come
I
together.
see, like the more Science Temple people, the Sunni Muslim, the Shia, all those people. Do they come together?
Yeah, they'll come together.
So they work. They kind of work with each other. Hmm.
Yeah,
I heard that the Aryan nation is really, really powerful in prison. Is that still true?
see, that's not in Louisiana. It's different in Louisiana.
Hmm.
See, in Louisiana, the Aryan nations probably wouldn't survive. Not collectively. It'll have to be individually. See if they did it collectively, because blacks far outnumber you in Louisiana. You know, when you look at the system of Louisiana, you're gonna see a total domination by blacks. But when you go to places like Texas and wherever else, you'll see a big, large number of Mexicans and whites in conjunction with blacks. So they can survive and be Aryan Nation people, because you know Aryan Nation people take hits for guys in prison, for black guys. But here, I don't think that they will probably survive.
So it looks like they're starting to have more programs when it comes to like being able to do more things there. But there was a whole lot of flack about how the prison itself had really the living situation there was really bad. You know, was that while you were in, or has it changed at all, or is it still really dire and gross living standards?
It's still practically the same thing. Um, it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better.
Right. So you had the young man who escaped, and now he went from having a jail term to now he's in Angola because of his ability to the fact that he escaped. What And then they said that they think he'll be at Camp Jake, and I know that you said that you were at Camp Jake. Could you explain Camp Jake and also your time in Camp Jake? What even brought you to Camp Jake? I asked you 3 different questions. I mean,
Yeah.
I got so many questions because our young black men, man, this I think it's sad, you know, that you go through all this.
It's Camp Jake, which is it closed down while I was there, because it was bad living conditions. But I think they would go to CCR, which is somewhat equivalent to being at Camp J. It's a one-man cell. You asked what it was like being at Camp J.
Yeah.
Camp J is a place, you know, it's just you in the cell by yourself, 23 hours a day. It's just you and your thoughts. And so you have to just be used to yourself. And so when guys get into it at Camp J, they'll throw things at one another. And so you know you have to learn you got to learn how to survive in the cells. But it's just total isolation, which a lot of people would prefer to be alone in a cell than to be in a cell with someone else. So Camp J, you know, when you like leave out, you got to be shackled and handcuffed. It's like when you leave out, like on certain units. I mean, like when you're on certain levels, like on level 2, anytime you leave out your cell, you shackled and cuffed. And the only time you're leaving out your cells really is to go on call out or to go in the yard and to go in the shower. So even when you go into the shower, you got to walk with shackles and handcuffs on. When you come back, you got to come back with shackles and handcuffs.
So so you got shackles and handcuffs on, and then people are throwing stuff at each other?
No, not at that point. See, like when you come out, see on level 2, you don't have on level 2, you're in your cells for 23 hours and 45 minutes. Only time you come out is to take a shower, but you got three days of yard, which is an hour. You can elect to go in the yard, and you're going to yard for 45 minutes and come back in and take your shower for 15, so that's an hour. Some guys don't want to go in the yard because security gonna go in and tear their cells up because they don't want to take you on the yard because they'll be feeling like putting the shackles and handcuffs on you. So you'll go in the yard and you'll come back. And then you'll go in the shower. But that's 23 hours and 45 minutes. So when you get to level 3, you can you get an hour every single day, or you can elect to go on you can take your hour on the yard. But so on level 3, if you get into it with a dude, while he on his hour, he gonna come out and entertain you. And entertaining you is throwing stuff in your cell. He might, and this is nasty stuff, but he might have been holding his feces for you he might necessarily wasn't holding them for you, he's just holding them. So if you ever get into it, he might have been holding them for a month, 2 months, and he got a lot of it. So he might come out with big bottles and just bomb yourself for the whole hour. And he telling you, clean it up. Clean it up. You ain't no rat, clean it up. So you don't want to be no rat. So that means you got to clean up another man boo-boo. And you got to have all your stuff to make it smell cool because security gonna come down the chair to make their round. So you don't want them to smell nothing. So what dudes will do is, man, you ratting. I ain't ratting. You know you throwing dude, you know the man gonna smell it. So you ratting. I ain't doing no ratting. I ain't cleaning up your stuff neither. So dude's like, oh, bro, you planning like that? Yeah, I'm planning.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, we lost him. Did someone call him? He's here, but hold on. Yeah.
All right.
All right, sorry about that. You said go
Yeah,
ahead. So
so
yeah, so y'all arguing back and forth, but you're in your cell, they're in their cell. Y'all arguing back and forth with each other about the poop he threw in your so if you're only allowed to be out of the cell for 23 hours, so you went somewhere, they get let out to what, walk back and forth? They let you walk back and forth?
mhm.
Like to what? To stretch or like what?
Yeah, to do whatever. You got an hour. You can exercise for your hour. You can sit down and play chess. You can play cards. Whatever you want to do for your hour. You got an
Oh,
hour
so
to
does
do it.
everybody get out at the same time for that 1 hour?
No, one
Okay.
person at a time. One person at a time. And so
Okay.
you just do whatever. Sometimes, you know, like recently, one of my homeboys got killed like that.
Wow.
Because sometimes you can get the cells popped open. Man, I'm gonna get your cell. I'm coming in that cell with you. Dudes might say, I'm coming in that cell with you, so you better have it on your mind. You better be ready. So if he tell you he coming in the cell with you, you got to be prepared. That means if he on the hallway with shift change, he got a rookie. Soon as he come on change shift, it's like, say, so man, when you finish making rounds, come back around here, man. And I need to run in my cell to get something. So he gonna be like, all right, finish. He gonna let the man that was on earlier go home. He gonna come back. What cell you in? Oh, man, pop cell 10 open. Cell 10 bought it. He ain't gonna say nothing. He gonna let him pop it open. Y'all gonna get it on. Most of the time, y'all gonna have a knife. So they knife fight. They gonna be knife fighting. They ain't throwing fists. They stabbing each other up. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you can win. Sometimes you lose. It's they call that warriors. They call them guys warriors.
Oh my God. So I mean, so what? And what's the longest that you've spent in that situation like that?
My longest was 13 months. I used to go in and come right back out. I don't so stay.
You got to get out of there. I've heard people up in there for years.
Oh yeah, I got a homeboy staying there like 20 years. You lose
20
your mind.
years.
Yeah, you lose your mind in those cells. You ain't normal coming out.
You're not normal coming out. Even you would say in your 13 years of that, you would say you kind of had some post PTSD. Do you have dreams? Do you have what do you go through?
We'll have PTSD. We have PIC.
What's that?
That's post incarceration syndrome.
Uh,
It's the
What
same.
does that mean?
It's the same thing as PTSD, but PTSD they want to just say it's military. Well, military and our military and our in prison institutions are ran the exact same way. So it's all PTSD, but like I say, PTSD started for people that was in the military. Therefore, they got that, and people that's coming from incarceration have PIC. So, yes, being in those cells, yeah, I'm finna tell you a trait of it with me. Uh, I can't handle the heat. So if I'm hot, I can't be hot because being in the cells ain't no fans or nothing. You just as hot as it is outside, it's like 30 times as hot in that cell, and so you sweating all day, you fanning, you irritated because of the heat. And you got to get on the floor, so you got to pour water out your toilet and just lay in that water. And when that water get hot, when that water get hot, you got to change it out. You got to keep putting cold water on just to go to sleep. And so me now, I have to sleep with the AC on year round. I can't
Mm.
handle the heat.
Wow. And there's like windows of in this in that thing. Is there windows beaming down, or is it just completely just no windows, can't see outside? Because when I'm thinking of like the movies where it's like just darkness and there's like the one rat comes and you're playing like it's like Ben. Is there windows? Is it like and do you get to have books in there? Like, are you just sitting there just with your own mind the whole time?
You can have books and there are windows. A lot of the guys that learn law in Angola, they learn it in the cells because you don't have time to do nothing but read. And those guys learn, you learn law, or you just become smart because that's all you if you can read, that's all you're gonna want to do. Read and write to pass your time.
Hmm. How do they get into it with each other? Is it just because it's too much hollering going on? Like, how do you get into it when you're in a cell by yourself with other people that's in the cell by theyself? Like,
It's
because I'm like, what? How are y'all not even able to communicate with it? Like, what are y'all? How are y'all? How is this happening that you're getting into it with each other?
because you're talking. It's just like we having a conversation now. You can have a conversation, and so sometimes the conversation turns into these disputes, and those disputes lead into you calling me out my name, or I'm calling you out your name, and that leads to y'all just getting into it.
And it turns like you never know how crazy the person is on the other side, whether he been scooping up poop out the toilet or and saving it the whole time or not. I mean, or did everybody kind of scoop their poop up to try to like protect this? It was like a on. It was everybody poop scooping. Like, you know what? I'm gonna just have this sitting here just in case. Or was it like was everybody kind of like this, or just was some people that were like that?
It's just some people, but you go on some tiers that's all dudes all about that Camp J stuff. They're gonna be like that because that's what they do. They live like that. But if you got dudes like me that are coming from population, and I'm trying to get back to population, I ain't living like that.
Right, right. I'm sure that that has to smell and everything. That just to have that in your cell.
Yeah.
And and they probably been bombed so many times, stinking. Got their own poop stinking over here. They didn't got hit a few times. The cell already stink. Then, man, that's crazy. They don't give you any kind of. They ain't gonna give you nothing to clean your cell out. There's nothing like Friday is your clean day that you get some supplies to be able to clean with. It's like no, it's water, toilet water. That's about all you're gonna get.
Well, you get taller water, but they come around every day. They might like, man, anybody want to clean up their cell? Like you can get little detergents and bleach and stuff. Plus, you'll buy things from the canteen to keep your stuff going, to keep your cell fresh, because most guys gonna just clean their cells over the towel. You're gonna use toilet water, you're gonna keep your cell clean.
Right. I mean, are you limited on how much you could have in your cell? Like, could you have a whole bunch of stuff, or is that like you better watch out? You better not have too many books up in there, or nothing.
You kind of limited, but certain security don't be really playing you tight on that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. So, you get out of that situation. I mean, I'm just trying to give everybody like a visual of how kind of brutal this situation is to be able to overcome that. That's why I'm asking you so many questions about the actual living standards and this whole thing and what kind of pressure that you're under to be able to come out of that, after the X amount of years. And you said that, so you said that you did a lot of your studying of the law that when you were in Camp Jake, and then you kind of got out. You guys all saw that this law had passed. How many people were released at the same time you were, or were you the only one?
It was just me. And when I went on the board, I think it was like 7 of us. I know 2 of us made it. Me and Joe, and both of us was juveniles. Yeah, so we was both juveniles.
Okay, all right. And so, so how when you guys were juvenile was when you guys have gotten in from being a juvenile. You guys have been in there since you were juveniles.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry about that. People are calling me. Once you got out, what was your support system like? And how important is it to have a support system throughout all this? Because I can imagine if you're in Camp Jake, it's probably hard to even talk. Are you allowed to talk to people in those situations?
You're allowed to talk.
Okay.
And it's very important to have a good support system if you want to survive out here. You want to stay out here. Your support system is what it sustains you. My support system was awesome. Not many guys can say that they walked home to a 750 Li Beamer or a Porsche Panamera. I came home to a Porsche and a 750 Li.
Wow.
I came home to living. I was able to immediately establish myself and hit the grounds running with what I'm doing because of that support system, so that I could help other people coming out of similar situations, be the support system for them just in case they don't have one. But it's very important to be able to have someone, because not people don't really know what you done went through, and people don't know what you need, because people can look at us bodily, and we pass judgment on people just by our bodies, but we don't know what's going on internally. We don't know the struggles that we go through. We don't know, what to make.
Sorry, guys. I think he might be getting calls. Can you get
And
the phone calls?
we need people to support us, because like me, I went to prison at 16. I never lived alone. I never paid a bill. I never struggled because I always had my parents and my family. So now it's me struggling, me being able to withstand these struggles and overcome it. So you need support for that. You need support when things just ain't going your way. When you don't even know where your next meal coming from, you need support, because in prison you never worry about that, because you got 3 hots. You got 3 hots. Even if you don't want it, it's provided for you. But you might not know where you're gonna stay at tonight. You need support for that. because you coming out of something that's structured, that's already provided for you. Now you got to provide these things for yourself. So it's a big difference. And so I had the advantage over a lot of other of my peers because of my family structure. My family was I got an awesome family, a family that I could brag on daily. I can brag about them because I was 5 hours away from the prison that I did 30 years and 7 months in. And I didn't go without my family coming to see me. Even when my mama was sick, my mama would be sick and come. I want to see my baby. She coming. So it's important to have that. It's very important to have it. And it's a lot that I'm not saying about it, but I'm just saying because you asked the question the way you asked it. But I was blessed. I was fortunate, and I'm still blessed, and I'm still fortunate. So I always have to give honor and praise to God.
Listen, when I ask the question, I'm really just opening up the conversation.
Mhm.
You could speak freely what you think that people need to know about this situation. I'm just only just trying to keep the conversation flowing so that I know that. But if there's anything that you think that this audience should know while you're in stream of like having this stream of consciousness, please feel free to tell them because I don't know all the right questions to ask. You know what I'm saying? So you would know what is important for people to even know about the situation.
Mhm.
Because I can only ask based on because I have a picture in my mind of what this looks like, but I could only imagine, you know. Um, how important is it for moms to be there for their sons in this situation? Because it seems like mothers play a very integral part, even women, so to speak, too. What do you think about that? What do you think?
I, I I I think that you should. I don't think that you should separate it. I think you should ask the question: how important is it for parents to be?
Parents.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's not just moms. You got fathers. I know fathers that's there for their kids in prison, and their moms aren't there for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't overlook the fact that fathers do play a part in this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for it's important for each person to play a part in their kids' lives. Because what we see now in prison is a lot of parents are not there for their kids, and they're just in prison. That's a that's a sad reality, but it's a reality all the same. Because when I went to prison, that generation that went to prison with me, a lot of us was afforded the luxury of having our parents and having our families, as opposed to how it is now. So it's important to just get through things. Just to know that you got people that's holding you down. Because not everybody that's in prison is there because of something that they did. And and all the time they need your help, especially to get out that situation. So they need you. And a mother or a father shouldn't allow prison to sever the ties with their seed. So it's very important.
Did you see a difference in how people behaved in prison when they didn't have a family structure or people supporting them? Were they more violent or prone to violence, things like that?
Oh yeah, you see that. Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
They'll stay in a lot of times they'll stay in the more stuff. Yeah.
So now let's get into so you get out, you're doing good. I think there was one part I said that I was thinking about in the actual prison that we were gonna oh yeah, the plantation of it all. So do you see ghosts in that prison? Did you see anything strange that was going on there that was kind of like weird or like from the ancestors? It was like was it weird? Like was it like would you hear screams like voices? I mean hell probably you couldn't hear it over even the screams of the people that are already in the jail that won't shut the fuck up. I'm sure you're like, shut up already. They just up all night. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I never heard anything.
Yeah. Okay. So you get out, and I'm sure with Baba Shaka we talked about how that particular prison was like a slave. They had like people on horses. You're picking cotton. You know, it's just they all they did was put the plantation just got a prison on it. It's already a plantation, and they just put a prison on it, and they replaced the slaves that was there with the actual incarcerated individuals to pick the cotton and to do this and to do that. Um, and I think that's that's our labor force that they're trying to see. It seems like they're trying to convert our labor force into that, like people that are get locked up or incarcerated there to get like cheaper labor. Um, that's what they're using. Is that correct in my assessment?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hmm.
Because I'm sure that you guys probably seen people. I'm not sure what you pick the cotton. Do you make the T-shirts too?
Yeah. Well, they got a t-shirt going. In fact, yeah, they making them. They started making them right before I came home. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, just kind of open up the lines because we're about to be ending pretty soon.
Okay.
But if anyone wants to come up, we've only gotten like a little bit of the ways through to his because I probably want to bring him on again and then get deeper into like his books, promotions of what he's got going on right now, his nonprofit. But in the meantime, Queen, welcome to the panel. Did you want to ask any questions?
I just actually seen the link that you were on here, so I did because I'm interested. I know that you are just come. You were saying that I seen the title about you being in the Angola prison, and I heard so much about this bad prison system and how it's really in an enslavement, and that kind of that's pretty. It's something where it hits home and is very emotional to me. To know that that prison is actually sitting on a plantation. But before I go there, I definitely want to make sure that I tell everybody in the chat hello. Thank you for welcoming me. Hello to the host, DJ, and also hello to you, T Win. It's nice seeing you now. I know you and I spoke a couple of days ago. I wish that I'd known that you were here. I seen that the link, but I was on live actually. So it's actually nice meeting you, and hopefully that we can keep this connection. I appreciate that because I have a really, really, really big interest in Angola prison. I have a big interest in the Orleans Parish Jail. And above all of that, I got a huge, huge, huge interest in Anton Massey. I was actually getting ready to go live for Anton Massey because I see that he's going to court, so forth and so on. Well, he's been to court and he's pleading not guilty on the kidnapping charges, so forth and so on. But I am definitely interested in this Angola prison. I heard a lot about it. It's disgusting. And I feel like one of my goals in nature at this point is to see about getting it tore down. Without a doubt. How do you feel now not being in there and then looking back at it?
Which angle? Which angle are you asking me how I feel about?
I mean, at the discuss part of it, the freedom part of it, looking back, knowing that you have other brothers in there, especially that's probably innocent. I'm not saying that everybody in there is innocent, but I know there's a lot of people in there innocent. And if they're not fully innocent, I know one thing about it. They're probably and most likely they're over sentenced.
Oh.
Are you looking back at it like with a helping hand to them, or are you looking back like I don't want no parts in that one?
You know, my whole body of work is since I've been home is to help guys. I mean, I actually just got off of parole here in this morning speaking for
Wow.
a guy. You know, so I've spoken before the United Nations 3 times about the conditions of prisons. I've spoken before the United States Senate committee on these issues. So my whole body of work is dedicated to helping guys that's in prison. So you asked me when I look back, how do I see it? I mean, I don't see it in no better light than I did while I was there. You know,
Right.
it's a place that I hated. It's a place that it's a place that I hated. It's a place that brings up not only the memories of our ancestors. Now I have memories of myself being there now.
Right.
So, and they kind of replaced the ancestors
Yeah.
because I was also a slave on the same plantation that my ancestors were slaves on. You know, we try to sugarcoat it and make it like we're not slaves,
Hmm.
but by the Constitution it says that if you commit a crime, you are a slave, and I worked there like a slave. So I don't look at it in a good light. I look at it in the light of, I mean, I saw a lot of horrible things there. I done seen where guys was drugged down the walking at Camp J, and all their skin coming off of them. You know, you think you see Nicholas was a bad thing to see 5 officers beating him to death. You know, when you go to Camp J, man, you done saw that. It's like, man, I done actually witnessed this, and it's it's things that are forever be in your mind and be in your heart, because then you meet beautiful souls there, and people depicted most of us as being animals, but they got beautiful people there. That's not animals. Circumstances call for them to make snap decisions, and snap decisions led to bad things happening. But these are not people that calculated a crime to happen.
Right.
That just sit back and preyed on people. They were not animals in the sense of being animals. They was just placed in a situation where they just had to react, and they reactions left someone probably tragically wounded or mortally wounded. But they wouldn't have done that under normal circumstances.
Right.
And a lot of times this person made them do what they did.
Right.
So everybody isn't a beast there. So you got guys there who have really rehabilitated themselves. Guys who are so remorseful, but they have rehabilitated themselves, and they should have a second chance. So,
Right.
I speak for those people. I'm not saying that, I speak for those who should have a second chance, because in our state, it's hard to get a second chance when you get in. And then, laws just constantly pass. We got laws that's about to go into effect now that's going to limit you access to getting into the courts. So it's way harsher and harsher. It's getting way harsher on the person that's incarcerated. And those are things that should happen. A person should have a meaningful opportunity to
That's
go
right.
through the courts. That's law. But that's where the power of voting come from.
That's
That's
right.
where, we don't just speak about how important it is for us to vote. So we got to have the right people in office that don't just always prioritizing stocking people into these cages and piling them up. We need solutions to crime.
That's
We
right.
need to be able to combat crime so that it don't happen, so that we don't have to send people to prison.
That's
But
right.
prison is a big profitable business,
That's
especially
right.
here in Louisiana. So the profit for outweighs anything else. And people look at the cash value of their property, which you become the property of the state
That's
when you're
right.
incarcerated.
Yes.
So now it's still, we're looking at people out the same eyes as we did during the 1800s, during the 1700s, and the 1600s, when slavery was first introduced to this country.
That's right.
So it's like we don't overcome, we haven't rid ourselves of the mentality of this chattel slavery, because it
Yes.
still exists. So I think about that, and I say, man, I just have to help, because I know the value and the devaluing of a black person. So I stand firm on that. So, and I look back at that and say, man, I don't want my people to die there.
I definitely agree with you on that. And you know what? Um, I took a liking to this case, T Win, because when I seen Anton Massey for the first time, I honestly, I don't know why it took me so long. It's not like I didn't see the truth before, because I have a brother that also have been in and out of prison, and he's been in and out of prison for sale of drugs. And one good thing that I can appreciate about him, he always had a pretty good attorney, Mark Jones out of Palm Beach County, West Palm, and that attorney actually took my brother under his wing. So my brother, even though he did time, he could have done a lot more. Thank God he had an attorney that actually fought for him. And just to hear about the conditions and to even see it on the Anton Massey side, I took more of an interest in the case because I seen that New Orleans is the highest rated jail incarceration of jailers and prisoners, especially in the Black community in the world. And then you have Texas and other little states like that. And when I looked at Anton Massey, I looked at him in the mind frame of, wait a minute, we're still being judged. We're being judged because when you look at Anton Massey, he's still being judged because of his past record. He's still being judged because he got tattoos on his face. He's still being judged because he's a Black man. He's still being judged for what he did years ago. They're not looking at the person that have been recreated and became today. And then to put him in any type of system and then lock him away with no voice and then continue to spotlight his criminal history from the past and then to spotlight him because he got tattoos on his face. Those tattoos and past spotlights is almost saying you spotlighting my color. And that drew up a bigger problem to me, to know that he put his whole life on the line and everybody called him a liar on one side. But when I look at it, in every lie, I'm going to find the damn truth. And behind every truth, because I could see, I'm going to find where to lie at. And it's something that they're hiding. It's things that they're not telling. Like you said before, this is all about money. And the passion for me goes behind the innocence. And for me, I couldn't be anything on the DA. I'm going to always be against them. Why? Because it's a bigger mission. They blame us for everything. It doesn't matter how loud I talk, I'm aggressive. It doesn't matter how tall I am, I'm aggressive. It doesn't matter if I say it in a good voice tone, I'm still aggressive. And I think that I'm drawn over there because when I looked in Anton Massey's eyes, I see the truth. I see that there's things that they're covering up. When I hear about the Angola prison and you got this prison sitting, you honestly have this prison sitting on a plantation. Do you know what type of insult to injury that is? Do you know that's not only an insult to injury to me, that's an insult to injury to my children. That's an insult to injury to our ancestors. That's an insult to injury to the slaves that used to be on there. That's so much of an insult to injury until it's heart-wrenching for me. And I know the last time that I was on here, it was spoken of the Alcatraz prison that Trump got going on. And I went to thinking about that. I said, okay, so if Trump building prisons like that, guess what? I want him to keep building them. The reason why, because if we can keep building brand new prisons, and I'm going to find a way, all I have to do is go deep down in my soul, my spiritual realms, and continue to build groups like what I'm trying to build. And maybe what we'll do is make sure that we have that particular prison shut down. And if you are a prisoner and you belong there, we'll have you moved in one of the newer prisons where y'all so-called have them for illegal immigrants. That prison.
No. Sorry, no. That alligator out of that thing flooded out. If any prisoners would have been in that place, they would have died. They would have been flooded out. It's a tent city. They put the prison up in 8 days and surrounded it with alligators and snakes, and I guess they're surrounded by a lagoon, or I don't know. But that is not good either. It's the bottom line is it's inhumane. The whole system is inhumane. And now what they're doing is now they're trying to do like the Taco Bell, McDonald prisons with this alligator Alcatraz and throw these tents up and then put some bunk beds and some fences on it, and then have people living underneath the tent with the sun beating down on them, rain and flooding them out. They can't escape, and then dying and being in very terrible situations, even worse. So the bottom line is that at the end of the day, humanity is being um people are losing their ability to see people as human beings. If you commit a crime, you're not seen as a human being anymore, and so that we could easily just turn people are able to easily turn a blind eye to what this systems are doing to human beings because they made a mistake, they commit a crime,
Right.
and it's very inhumane. They wouldn't put a dog in some of the places that they have these people, human beings in.
Right. And I think I said that I'm not hitting on one particular prison. I think where I'm going at with that is I would rather see them somewhere else than to see them on a plantation being treated like slaves. I guess that's what the point is for me. It's not no particular place. It's the Angola, because that's the prison that I know of that's sitting on a plantation. And just that plantation is an insult to injury. So I think I'm going in that particular direction, not hitting on Alcatraz, having looked at it, but more so of whatever happens, that Angola prison, the largest one in the world, the most deadliest one in the world, and the one that's sitting on the plantation for me is the one that I'm honing in on, only because of the circumstances surrounded. And then to hear about this white horse, and they move you around from place to place to kind of make you kind of go a little crazy and not understand where you're at. And I know, Terrence, there's a whole lot of questions, because I have some questions, and I know that I came in on the end of the conversation, but I definitely would like to sit with you again and have a conversation, not just talking about Angola, but also talking about just the prison systems alone and what we can do to even rally together to even bring some sort of solution and some sort of awareness. Because for me, it just draws deeper, especially when I look at someone like Anton Massey.
Speaking of that, let's get into some of the things, Mr. Terrence. What you got going? What kind of programs do you have that you are implementing with your pipes? That's why I wanted to really get into the activism that you are doing in the community. So now that we've discussed the past and like the prison and how it affected your life, you were blessed to get out and have your family there to support you, and then you were there for also able to bless each other. I heard that you just said that you had to go and do a trial. So did you get your law degree at any point? Are you a practicing attorney at the moment, sir?
I'm in a way I am. I got one semester to go. I was
Oh, okay,
supposed
so you're
to,
about to get well, you still gotta pass the bar.
well, yes, but I won't be able to just take it right now because
Right.
of the crime. But just to went to school to have it.
Yeah.
So they won't
I-
let you can't get your law degree because of the type of crime you went in for?
yes,
Okay, what about paralegal? Can you be a paralegal or?
I could be a paralegal,
So
and
you have
that's
to
what
work underneath the lawyer in order to be able to work
uh
to be able to do stuff. So, but you do have access to that, right?
yes,
Thank God, because you work so heavily in the community. So you're going to be able to really, really effectively. They're not going to be able to kick you out the court.
no,
So whatever that law is that they're trying to put into effect, you have it. Once you get done with your school, they're not going to be able to say, oh, you can't be up in here.
yes,
You have that. That's beautiful. So you'll still have access. Also, I see on here that you do vigils. Let me let's I think I put it in this chat. Hold on. The things that you offer for people through your nonprofit. Hold on. Pipes advocates for criminal justice reform through letter writing campaigns, prayer vigils, policy changes, assisting formerly incarcerated and incarcerated with empowering programs, also collaborating with local, state, and national agencies. So you worked with other agencies other than Louisiana. You work throughout the country.
yes, yes.
What kind of people have you worked with? What kind of things have you already done with this organization? Is this just one of many organizations that you or things that you have in the pipeline, right?
It's
Tell us
I've
all the
got
things that you got going on. I'm excited.
well, I have a program now called the responsibilities of hip hop. I'm big on that because, you know, kids communicate through music.
Hmm.
And so, you know, people think that there's no responsibilities that comes with it, but there really are responsibilities. And so, you know, I teach the responsibilities of it. And through teaching that, you know, it's about teaching conflict resolution and things of that nature. And so I do that. And, you know, I've been, I've had the liberty of partnering with Senator Cory Booker,
Mm,
who should have ran for president, but
Wow.
yeah,
the situation happened that
right.
he couldn't run because
Couldn't
the
run.
vice
Yeah,
president had to run. But Cory would have probably defeated our current president. But I've had the opportunity and the luxury of partnering with him, and you know it's you know through him, you know, other doors open. Is other people that I've had the opportunity to meet. You know, like I said, I've been on the biggest stages of the world, from the
You said
United
you went to the
Nations.
United Nations.
Yes, 3 times.
So what you said 3 times with the United. What was your platform about?
About prison.
About
Everything,
prison reform.
everything is about prison. You know,
yeah.
with me.
Mm. Have you
So
ever thought about becoming a senator? Can you become a senator? Can you go into politics? Because you look like a politician. I see you're sharp. You got your suit on. You got your suit. You're sharp. Have you thought about becoming a politician and getting into politics?
no, I mean a lot of people try to push me in that direction, but no, I've never really thought about it because I don't want to compromise my integrity.
Mm.
And when you buy into the when you running for things and you win, sometimes you become a product of the system. And we forget that this system wasn't designed for us. So as I stay who I am, I never forget that aim, and I never forget that, man, this system wasn't built for us. This system was built to keep us oppressed. So
Mm.
when we get our people inside the system, they don't try to change that system. You know, it's very few people, black people, who have broken the broken
It's
through the
like
doors and that
very.
actually tried to change the system, which people to
Mm.
say you can't change it, but you must throw stones at it. People don't, you must throw stones at it. They just get it and become a part of it. And that's what you're looking at as these sambos. And
Mm.
I don't want to ever be a sambo. So I never thought about being a politician. Not to say that everybody is. Some people hold true to their integrity and hold true to what it is to be a black person that's representing millions of other black people. But it's hardly ever seen, and we don't really just see it. So politics isn't something that I thought of at this stage.
Right.
What about lobbyists? Have you ever thought of getting into lobbying when it comes to prison reform?
I would love to do that, but man, you got to realize I'm from Louisiana, and I don't think you've been to Louisiana to understand it.
Yeah.
It's like now, if you was to walk into as a black person lobbying, you was to go down, you ain't finna get nothing changed right now. And and
Mm.
and the other people gonna tell you, hey, give you a old pat on the back, you a good old boy, but you ain't finna change nothing here, boy. You know, so
Wow.
they gonna hit you with they slave jargon.
Can
They
I
gonna let you know you ain't finna change nothing while we running it. We running this here.
can
Mm.
I ask you a question? Are there any community group or community activists over in um Orleans?
Oh yes, strong community activism. They got some strong ones in Orleans. Probably the strongest in the whole state
So you're
comes out
telling
of
me
Orleans.
there's strong activists over in New Orleans and they can't even do anything to make a change. So with the strong activists in New Orleans, I'm not being rude or anything, but I would like to know, because if nothing is changing, would you be able to tell me what is it that they're doing that makes them strong? Because
I'm finna,
if there's, yeah, tell me.
I'm finna tell you what they have done to make it we got a right to vote because of the people in New Orleans. A person comes from prison, I can vote now.
Oh, wow.
That's what the law said.
That happened because of the guys out of New Orleans. Think about it. If you go to New Orleans right now and you go to the DA's office, guys that had life sentences work for the work for the DAs, and they work for the public defenders. Some of them even go into courts. That's
Right.
because of the same guys that I'm speaking about.
Right.
If you want to get elected, you're gonna go through those guys because they got that much power. So
Mhm.
they are powerful.
So I want to
Are you
know.
talking about the Zulus? Are you talking about the Zulus?
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking
You
about
talking
dudes that come from prison
Right.
with me. That was in prison with me. That's
I
about
wanna-
doing it. They're doing it big, man.
doing it huge.
So I want to ask you a question. So the ones like they're coming out and they're making those particular changes. What part are you saying won't be changed, even though you got huge activists over there, including the activists that came from the prison and the jail system? What are things that you're saying they don't have? What are things that you're saying they don't have the capability of changing?
I'm not saying they don't have the capabilities of changing,
Right.
because they have changed things already.
Right.
But when you give one party total domination, they rechange those things. So everything that was changed that was for the best of guys, it was changed recently up under a change of administration. So you got before this administration, things were sweet. Things were, guys was able to get out of prison. Guys was able to get out of prison at an alarming rate.
Mm-hmm.
But that went back to changing, back to the old ways, because the administration changed. And that took place because of certain people getting in positions. But then you got to look, when you don't vote the right people in office, you change. We got a supermajority Republican. They got the supermajority on the House, Congress. They dominated. So they changed.
Right. Isn't Orleans predominantly black?
Yeah.
Right.
It
So
is.
if they're predominantly black, then the groups that you have there are those. Thank you so much, Wendell. The groups that you have there, are those groups more so? I guess because I'm trying to figure out, because if one of the problems that we're having over there is voting, and it's predominantly black, and we have strong activist groups. I want to know, are they honing in on voting rights in order to get the right people in the right positions to structure the state the way it's supposed to be? Like, I'm trying to figure out, where is the disconnection there? Like it's a big disconnection that I'm hearing. And I know, and I wanted to know, would you be able to provide some of those community activists? Because I'm honestly going to be going over there. Without a doubt, I'm going to be going over there because I stand firm behind Anton Massey, Angola prison, and that's what I'm ramping up for.
See, what you're looking at Orleans as being one parish out of 64.
Mm.
So you got 63 other parishes. So New Orleans just run New Orleans. They don't run the state of Louisiana.
Correct.
So you got to understand, all of the parishes have to be under one accord. So the five major cities here, they kind of like together. They're gonna vote together. But you still got 59 other parishes. So it doesn't just even out because of the number of people. And those little bit of small rural parishes, they kind of put put their mouth behind, their money behind who they want to put their money behind. And it doesn't coincide with what we do or how we see things. Because where I'm at in Shreveport, it's predominantly black.
Right.
But Shreveport, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Monroe, Lafayette, and Alexandria, they don't make up the whole state. They just make
Correct.
up 5 parishes. So
And,
even,
and I think the prison is actually in a white area, huh? Is in a
yeah,
white parish,
Right.
in the actual town that the prison is in. And
Right.
do they hire mostly white people? Or because I know in Dallas, it seems like the jails and stuff is kind of ran by blacks. It seems
it's
like
gonna be
mostly.
it's gonna be ran by blacks. It's
Isn't
ran
that
by blacks.
interesting that the prison is a lot ran by black in our country is ran by a lot of black law enforcement and stuff? Isn't that weird? Like they put you in jail and then they keep black people to kind of keep each other. That's the weirdest thing ever. Have
I
you
think,
noticed that?
Yeah, it's like
yeah, but
it's like how they'll put and it's predominantly ran by black women, not
yeah,
black men.
yeah,
So
but,
Wow.
think about the reverse psychology of that. As
but
during
in the,
slavery, the black woman was beside the black man. Now the white man put the black woman over the black man, and
In
so the black
charge.
woman
Wow.
it changes the whole speech
Dynamic.
because now the black woman talking crazy to the black man, like
Like they
calling him
like
out
a
his name.
mama, like somebody's mom, or just like an authority role, like very aggressive. Yeah, that's psychological. Wow.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's done
I,
for reason.
I wanted to say that I would understand a statistic like that because if we're talking about areas that are predominantly black, I mean, it would be more so that it will be predominantly black employees there. The thing of it is, I don't think it's the employees being black that are the problem. It's the lands who owned it, because my understanding of it, that prison, especially like Angola, and also Orleans Parish, they're owned by private sectors. So if they're owned by private sectors, that's the private side of it. So whenever they're making laws and rules, that's on the private side. But the employees that come in there, if that's who roll in that area, and that's where those are the people that's looking for jobs, I would expect that, because I know, for an example, like in Tallahassee is not predominantly black for a bad prison that's over there, but there's a lot of white employees there. So I would assume that it just depends on where it's housed at, on the type of employees that you will get.
Well, it's different here because every prison is in a white town, and you're gonna
Mhm.
get majority of black people that's gonna work there.
Yeah, even the jails work. It'd be all, even the polices that's working at the officers. They'd be all black. Because trust me, I done went to jail a few times in Dallas, and it amazed me that it was all black people running the whole thing, and I'm like, what is going on? And then you're saying it's all women for the men, and you hear a lot of stuff about women, POs getting or whatever they're called, getting pregnant and like liking certain dudes and giving them favorites and sneaking stuff into it, and then they, you know what I'm saying. I heard one chick got killed by one, so I think she had a baby or something. It was crazy. I've heard so many crazy stories. My one friend, he was in jail for life, and this one PO helped get him out of prison. And then when she got him out, when he broke up with her or he tried to leave her, she called his probation officer and got him locked back up.
Oh, I, I want y'all to schedule this another time
No,
because
we
I gotta
No,
go to.
I was about to wrap it up anyway. I actually had this up here. I wanted to
Okay.
really get into this book real quick. Okay, No Nonsense. This is his book. It's on Amazon. Handed down the maximum sentence of life in prison. Life has virtually ended with the precious life that I had taken. Because of my anger, I single-handedly destroyed my family, the family of my victims. Acting without thinking is the worst. Many of us, should I say all of us, at some point in our lives have dealt with anger issues. Some are even controlled by it. When our anger escalates, it's best to seek support. For those who can help you manage it, this is his book. It's called Prisons in No Sense, a true story documented, written by Mr. Terrence Winn. Did you write this while you were in prison?
Yeah, I actually wrote that like after I made parole, waiting to come home. I wrote it I wrote it within that time frame.
Right. Wow. So that's his book, you guys. Please support him. His nonprofit is called Pipes. I put all this stuff in the actual in the chat. Please support his priorities, intentions, practical exchanges. This is his nonprofit. You can reach him at 313 or 318-901-7288. They're always open to help people. And if you have an issue, if you're in Louisiana, Shreveport area, and you need help with some issues or whatever going on with that. Also, his Facebook, Winn, is his Facebook page. If you want to go check him out, was you able to see the pipe page? I think I didn't get to show that one. So this is his nonprofit. Any final words you want to say before we kind of close this out? I really thank you for being here with us. This was a great thing. I hope that this was great information for those that got to see the information.
I think I would like to just close out on a note of saying, man, if you got someone in prison that you love, man, continue to love them. Continue to support them. Don't let society dictate to you who you should love because of a crime. Because the highest man in that runs our nation committed a crime. And he got millions of people that don't even much know him that love him. But if someone shares your same bloodline, man, love your people. Because you shouldn't stop loving them because someone says to. And you know, and guys in prison need you. And we need each other out here. So, man, my thing is to say, man, love away the black hate. We got to stop hating each other. If we want to progress in anything, we got to stop hating one another. We got to love one another. And if we don't love one another, we got to like one another and accept one another, because that's how every other race of people have gotten ahead. They've been able to place their differences to the side and work to galvanize all the strength from their communities to build. And we got to do the same thing. I would like for y'all to support our podcast, Learn to Listen podcast on YouTube. And, you know, we just try to bring positivity. It's all about positivity with us. It's nothing about negativity. We're not trying to bring no one down. We want to uplift our race. We want to uplift each and every person. And, you know, we just always want to just show love to each other. So thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do you have a final word, Queen?
Yes, I do. I definitely appreciate you, T Winn. You know, I had a conversation with you the other day, and I know I go a little deeper into conversations, and that's just the type of person I am. And I definitely would like to have another conversation with you, because I want to get into a little bit more depth with it. And there's other questions and I don't know, I know where you're at over there, and we may be able to team up a little bit. And I did take a look at your podcast, and I told you I'm gonna make sure that I support it. I seen the last video that you did with a young lady where they killed her brother. So just let you know that I am in tune with you over there, and I am going to wrap my claws around you so that we can build you and build your podcast up and also the community. And I'll reach out to you, because I definitely want to have a conversation with you and see if we can go just a little bit in depth in this. I do talk about Anton Massey because it's like a passion of mine. He's on my schedule at least 3 times a week, and I'm wrapping all of those in together. So I definitely look forward to having this conversation with you again. Sorry, I came in late. I actually was on a live and I just seen it. And the support in this type of realm is going to do a whole lot for everybody. Why? Because those young men and young women that haven't been in jail or been in prison, you are a testament, not just you, others that have been incarcerated, especially in prison systems like that. You are a mass to them as to do the right thing and not go in there, because once you go in there, you don't come out the same. May it be for the good, the bad, the change, the different, the ugly, whatever it is. Here, you're never going to come out the same. Whether you come out better, you're going to come out worse, but all of it going to lead to a nightmare somewhere or the other. So I look forward to this platform with you again. I look forward to seeing you over and us having a more deep conversation, and, you know, trying to get to some resolution and then some boots on the ground where we can continuously help people, not just in that state, but in other states as well, especially our young Black men and women coming up. We don't want them to have to go through this. And my focus is to tear it down. I'm hell bent on that one. I'm not joking. I'm hell bent. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to talking to you real soon.
Like,
So my final words, I just want to say I'm proud of you. You know, you have been doing. I've looked at some of the things that you're putting together and that you're doing, and you have a very beautiful spirit to have experienced all that stuff and not be out here and still knuckleheading it around and still trying to be a knucklehead. You know what I'm saying? No, you put your foot down. You're getting your degree. You're getting your paralegal. You're really going to be able to help a lot of people. You've been all around the world. This is something to be commended to, because a lot of people cannot get out of that incarcerated mind state to be able to make and enact change. And I just want to give you your flowers while you are still on this earth and say, good job, bravo, keep up the good work, keep in the fight. Much love, man. And and your skin looks. I don't know what you're doing with your skin regime is. What you put on your skin, but hey, you gotta tell me what you're putting on your skin. What did you do? What did you wash your skin with? Like,
I just use regular soap.
dang. Okay, you got some good skin. I was like, okay, is he putting castor oil on? What you doing? Cocoa butter? Okay. So much love, guys. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Much love. Peace, guys.
Much love. Thank y'all.
All right.